Now, 36 years old, 107 operations under her belt and more to come. Mel Kilminster's smile hides decades of pain. Now this brave mum has to make the biggest but possibly best decision of her life.
We see it as an end to so much heartache, to so much pain.
Sink or swim, literally.
Sitting by a flickering campfire, Melissa Kilminster bears her soul.
To actually have my family there going through the journey and the heartache that I had put them through.
It's raw, it's confronting, it's inspiring.
Regardless on the battles that we go through, the downs that we go through, I think we're all a true example that if we put our minds to it, that we can accomplish anything.
Melissa Kilminster is a young mum and a dedicated cop.
It's about determination and never giving up on what you want.
We've travelled down this path for so long that we've burnt it out. It's time now to take a new direction.
This is a story that began 26 years ago. Melissa was just 10 when she saw her best friend hit and almost killed by a car.
And I just remember seeing her go up over the bonnet and onto the ground.
A compassionate police officer set Melissa on her path.
I knew from that time that was me. That's exactly what I wanted to do.
But fulfilling that ambition was not going to be easy. As a teenager, she was a promising representative hockey player. That was until she injured her knee.
It was never the same again. I could walk the wrong way and it would just dislocate.
The injury was so severe, it eventually weakened the knee's tendons. She was in and out of hospital and underwent 50 reconstructions.
I thought at that stage that was going to be it. I wasn't going to be able to fulfil my dream of becoming a police officer.
But Melissa was determined. After 6 months without a dislocation, she enrolled in the Cops. And in August 2004, probationary constable Melissa Kilminster marched off the parade ground.
It was the best day of my life. The ability to just hold this badge in my hand and to be known as a New South Wales police officer, that was my ultimate dream.
Marrying the job wasn't enough. Melissa married another cop, Wayne Marlowe. Together they had a daughter, Kayla. But it was 3 years later when Melissa's dreams were shattered. On a lights and siren run to an armed robbery, the police car hit a chicane and crashed, crushing her between the seat and the door.
So as we've spun, my shoulder's gone in between and my body's gone that way, ripping everything out of the socket.
While the knee seemed to be no longer an issue, Melissa had to undergo endless physiotherapy trying to strengthen the shoulder joint. Eventually, doctors had no option but to fuse it. It meant she was no longer operational. She could no longer carry the badge.
In my mind, I knew that was in the end of my career.
Heartbroken, the news took her to a dark place from which she thought she was unable to emerge.
I packed a uniform and I placed it nicely, neat to me in my car.
It's all still very clear to you, isn't it?
I remember just getting in my car and driving. And little did I know and realise, but I drove myself back to the accident site.
So what was going through your mind at that point?
All that was on my mind at that moment was to end my life, because to me, everything had been taken away from me.
Luckily, someone spotted her and Melissa woke the next morning in hospital. Today, Melissa openly talks about that moment in her life, hoping it will help others.
In my mind at that time, I thought I was alone, going through everything. What I did hurt so many people. And that just because I wasn't going to be operational didn't mean that I couldn't still be a police officer.
She credits a post-traumatic stress disorder course at St John of God Hospital for her recovery. Murdered Sydney Detective Inspector Bryson Anderson was one of her mentors.
And they were by my side throughout. They would come out and have coffee with me. They would not leave my side. It's true. You bleed blue. You're a family.
Her survival fueled a desire to somehow find a way to stay in the job. The prosecuting command opened its doors. Melissa not only grabbed a prosecutor's job, but excelled, receiving multiple awards for her work.
It's that saying, one door closes, another one opens, and that's exactly what it's been like throughout my entire life. As much as I keep getting those doors shut, there's always one popping open to enter.
Now, Melissa is helping others. Last year, she became a face of a police PTSD awareness campaign. Detective Sergeant Trent Atkins.
With the challenges that she has had, there were certainly times where she could have looked a little bit down in the dumps perhaps, but her passion and tenacity and her spirit and that fighting power of hers, it's just an inspiration for us all.
And all the while, Melissa was still plagued by the dislocating knee, undergoing scores of operations trying to rectify the problem. Doctors even removed the patella.
It's crippling, mentally, physically, and emotionally. We've tried everything possible to fix this leg. We haven't been successful.
Melissa's husband, Wayne.
It's like Mel's attached to, a burning wick, a burning fuse, just waiting for it to detonate.
2 years ago, after being awarded Trainee Prosecutor of the Year, Melissa Kilminster made a tough decision. The lower leg would have to be amputated.
It would basically dislocate when I'm like turn in bed. It dislocates getting in and out cars. It dislocates with no sign at all.
It wasn't a decision made lightly. We've been trialling doctors and surgeons and professors for 10 years plus.
I can't go and watch my daughter play soccer without that fear of my leg dislocating. We've never had a family holiday. We've never travelled. Because it's always that fear that my leg's going to dislocate.
Enter Iraqi refugee Munjed al-Madiris. Dr. al-Madiris fled war-torn Baghdad in 1999. Settling in Australia, he's now a world-leading osseo-integration surgeon.
Well, I'd seen Mujahid's inspirational story. It was only appropriate to link him with the most inspirational and determined police officer I've ever met.
Former cop Peter Remfrey.
We tracked him down through our contacts. It was pretty amazing to do, but as soon as he found out about Melissa's situation, he was only too keen to help.
Basic principles, we were aiming at saving her leg.
It meant yet another operation, the 108th.
So we tried to reconstruct her leg, her knee joint, basically, that has been operated on several times. Unfortunately, she continued to suffer from the same spasms that she was getting.
Despite countless hours of rehab, nothing could be done.
At the back of our mind, there was always a plan B, which is if all fail, then at least we would say that we have tried and we were not successful.
Melissa decided for a second time the leg would have to come off.
As much as it's going to be hard, as much as it's going to hurt, emotionally, mentally, physically, it's the only thing I have left. I'm existing at the moment. I'm not living. I know I have the utmost support with the decision that we've made to have the amputation done.
We're not looking to get Mel to the level where she can climb Mount Everest or run marathons. It's so she can go to the shop and come home with no problem.
Well, she's very brave, very brave. She's very strong as well, like mentally.
For 11-year-old daughter Kayla, the operation will mean her mum will be able to do things other mums do. Simple things, like going to her soccer matches.
Well, I'm sort of nervous for her, but I'm sort of happy.
And they'll finally be able to take that family holiday.
And then it would be a good relief that it doesn't come out anymore.
To have a child that's lived her whole life with her mother in hospital, in and out, there's got to be a better way of living. Life is so short. We're only here for a short period of time. And from tomorrow, it's now my time to live.
Yep, and I can do it.
The day before the surgery is like most others in the young family's household, except what you might call a farewell inscribed with messages of hope. The team will use a technique called osseo-integration, inserting a high tensile strength titanium implant into Melissa's femur which will then be attached to a prosthetic robotic limb.
What we do now is a revolutionary technology. It's a cutting edge.
You've been through so much. Why is it important for you to share your story?
If my story can help one person not have to go down the black dark hole that I went to, it would mean the world to me.
Arriving before dawn at Macquarie University Hospital, Melissa is stoic. Where others may hesitate, she's ready, more than ready.
How you doing?
Okay,
It's all happening.
it is happening.
I'm nervous. I don't know how you're feeling, but I'm nervous.
I don't know how I'm feeling. It's a weird relief.
What's certain is that this will change her life.
It means no more ambulances, no more emergency departments, being able to actually go out with my family and have just simple days out with them without that stress and worry of what can happen.
As the surgical team readies the operating theatre for the procedure, Melissa and I share a few last words.
What's going through your mind?
I don't know, excitement to know that it's going to be over, but know that it's going to be a massive challenge and hurdle ahead, but looking forward to taking a new road, a new lease in life.
How do you feel about the fact that you tried to save it and it's reached this stage?
Well, look, amputation is regarded as failure, and we don't see it that way.
In
Now,
fact, Dr Almadiris sees this as a new beginning for Melissa Kilminster.
her life has been ruined because of this leg, and replacing it with an artificial limb, Melissa would have a strong potential of regaining her ability to mobilize again freely. You can still say no.
It's time to start living.
There is no turning back.
6 months, walk in strong, walk out stronger, and in 6 months I'll be up, walking back in that courtroom full time.
As much as it's going to still be hard and it's a massive journey that I've got to undertake, there's finally a light at the end of the tunnel.
Gradually, Melissa drifts off into an anaesthetic-induced sleep, and the medicos get to work.
She's remarkable, isn't she? And we're pleased to say that Mel's operation was a success, but she'll be facing months of rehab before returning to the courtroom. We plan on being right there with her on that journey, and if you'd like to support Mel, you'll find out how on our website. And remember, if you or someone you know needs help, there is support available. Contact Lifeline. The number is on your screen now, 13 11 14. That's 13 11 14.